Have you ever noticed that some questions don't feel like questions at all? They sound polite, soft, almost caring. But the moment you answer, something deep inside you twists. As if you just stepped into a trap you didn't see coming. That's because manipulators rarely lie with statements. They lie with questions. And those questions are designed not to get information, but to get inside you. The Stoics warned us 2,000 years ago. People who deceive don't always attack from the front. They plant doubts quietly, gently, in the form of a harmless question. And then watch as you begin dismantling your own confidence. Nothing has changed. The tactics are older than Rome, but now they're wrapped in smoother tone, nicer language, and modern psychology. Today, we're going to break down 5 manipulative questions that liars and emotional predators use to distort your reality. Not just what they mean, but how the Stoics would respond with calm clarity instead of panic. By the time you finish this video, you'll recognize these traps instantly. More importantly, you'll know how to dismantle them without raising your voice or losing your center. If you find value here, consider subscribing, not for me, but for yourself. Because every lesson you take in sharpens your mind for a world where clarity is rare. Let's begin. 1. Why are you making such a big deal out of this? At first glance, this sounds innocent, even reasonable. But make no mistake, this is one of the most common psychological tripwires used by manipulators. It's not actually a question. It's a verdict. A verdict that says, your feelings are exaggerated. Your concerns are invalid. Your reaction is the problem, not their behavior. Notice the pattern? They're shrinking the issue while simultaneously inflating your guilt. Let's break down what's really happening beneath the surface. When someone asks, "Why are you making such a big deal out of this?" what they're actually doing is reframing the entire situation. Suddenly, the problem isn't their actions. The problem is your perception. You go from being the person asking a legitimate question to being the person who now has to justify your emotions. This is classic emotional redirection, one of the oldest manipulation techniques in the world. Think about it. A friend borrows money and disappears for weeks. When you finally bring it up, they sigh and say, "Seriously? You're making a big deal out of nothing." A partner hides something from you. And when you confront them, they tilt their head. "You're blowing this out of proportion." A coworker disrespects a boundary. And when you speak up, they laugh like you're dramatic. In all 3 cases, notice what they don't do. They don't address the behavior. They address your response. Stoicism teaches us that awareness is never the problem. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If something is wrong, do not pretend it is not." Manipulators hate that principle. Because once you see the truth clearly, you can no longer be controlled through self-doubt. So how would a Stoic respond? Not with shouting. Not with defensiveness. But with calm certainty. The next time someone asks, "Why are you making such a big deal out of this?" pause, breathe, and reply. If it wasn't a big deal, you wouldn't feel the need to minimize it. This response does 3 things at once. It reveals that you're not intimidated. It puts the responsibility back where it belongs. It ends the manipulation without escalating the conflict. Say that sentence calmly, without emotion. And you'll watch the entire tactic collapse instantly. Because manipulators rely on confusion. They rely on you doubting yourself. But when you respond with clarity, the disguise falls apart. This is the first step toward building a mind that cannot be twisted. 2. You believe I would actually do something like that? This one sounds emotional, even hurt. But don't be fooled, it's one of the most sophisticated manipulation questions ever created. At first, it seems like they're shocked by your suspicion. It looks like they're the one being wronged. But look deeper. This question doesn't defend their innocence. It attacks your judgment. It takes your reasonable observation and reframes it as a personal insult against them. Suddenly, you're no longer discussing facts. You're defending your morality. How could I think such a terrible thing about them? This is psychological misdirection. A classic tactic manipulators rely on. Shift the focus from their behavior to your lack of faith. And the moment you begin explaining, apologizing, or clarifying, they've already won. Real-life examples are everywhere. A coworker repeatedly breaks promises. And when you call it out, they put a hand on their heart. You really believe I'd betray your trust like that? A partner hides conversations on their phone. And when you ask why, they whisper, "You think I'm that kind of person?" Notice something? They never address the behavior itself. They only attack the image you have of them. Epictetus taught that the wise person focuses on what is, not on how others want to be perceived. Manipulators do the opposite. They care only about appearances. So how would a Stoic respond? With neutrality. With precision. With calm detachment. The next time someone throws this question at you, don't get emotional. Don't explain yourself. Simply say, "Your actions are creating the question, not me." One sentence. No anger. No drama. Just truth. It snaps the focus back where it belongs. It forces them to confront the behavior instead of hiding behind performance. A liar will panic. An honest person will reflect. And you? You stay grounded, centered, unshakable. 3. Why are you twisting my words? This one is especially cruel. Because it takes advantage of your integrity. It's a question designed to make you doubt your memory, your perception, and even your sanity. When someone says, "Why are you twisting my words?" they're planting the idea that you are the manipulator, that you are the one distorting reality. This tactic is a cornerstone of psychological warfare. Reverse accusation. Let's break down what it does. It makes you question your understanding. It makes you feel defensive and unstable. It flips the guilt entirely onto you. It allows them to rewrite the narrative in real time. And if you've ever dealt with someone like this, you know exactly how fast the ground beneath you can shift. Here's how it looks in real life. You repeat something they said earlier, word for word. And they immediately respond, "That's not what I meant. Why are you twisting things?" You describe a boundary they crossed. And they snap. You always misinterpret everything. You point out a contradiction. And they sigh. "You're twisting my words again." Notice the pattern? They never clarify. Never reflect. Never apologize. They just erase the original meaning and gaslight you into taking the blame. But the Stoics left us a weapon for moments like this. Stillness. Marcus Aurelius wrote that clarity comes from refusing to be dragged into someone else's storm. So the next time someone accuses you of twisting their words, don't react emotionally. Don't argue point for point. Just pause and say, then explain what you meant. This shifts the entire conversation. Why? Because liars depend on ambiguity. They survive on vagueness. They thrive when things are unclear. When you ask them to define their meaning clearly, the tactic collapses instantly. If they're lying, they stumble. If they're manipulating, they panic. If they're playing word games, they get exposed. And if they're honest, they'll clarify calmly. This simple Stoic response forces them to confront the truth, instead of hiding behind accusations. And most importantly, it protects your mind from being twisted into knots. Because you're no longer defending yourself. You're observing the situation with clarity. Liars hate clarity. Stoics live in it. 4. Do you really think I'd ever lie to you? This is one of the most emotionally loaded questions manipulators use. And it works because it masquerades as vulnerability. It's designed to make you feel cruel just for doubting them. But look closely. This question is not about truth. It's about shame. When someone asks, "Do you really think I'd lie to you?" they're not defending their honesty. They're attacking your right to question them. The intention behind this question is simple. If they can make you feel guilty for being cautious, you'll stop being cautious. It's psychological sleight of hand. Suddenly, the liar becomes the victim. And you become the heartless accuser. Let's analyze the mechanics of this tactic. 1. It reframes your doubt as betrayal. Not as logic. Not as instinct. But as a moral failure. 2. It pressures you emotionally, not rationally. They want you apologizing, not thinking. 3. It paints them as noble. Someone who is hurt that you could think such a terrible thing. But here's the truth the Stoics understood well. Honesty is never offended by questions. Only deception is. Seneca once wrote, "Truth is strengthened by examination. Only falsehood fears inquiry." If someone truly has nothing to hide, they will answer calmly. Without drama, without accusations, without theatrics. Think about real-world patterns. A partner erases messages. But when questioned, they whisper, "You think I'd lie to you?" A coworker alters documents. And when confronted, they gasp. "Is that what you think of me?" A friend keeps contradicting their own stories. And when you notice, they reply, "Wow, so that's how little you trust me?" The question isn't a defense. It's a distraction. And here's how a Stoic would dismantle it. Not with emotion. Not with anger. But with clarity. The next time someone asks, "Do you really think I'd lie to you?" Pause. Stay composed. Then reply, "I'm not talking about what you would do. I'm talking about what you did." This response is devastating. Because it pulls the discussion back to facts. And facts are the enemy of manipulators. It removes the emotional fog. And forces the conversation back into reality. Where lies cannot breathe for long. 5. Can't we just forget this and move on? When a manipulator says this, they're not seeking peace. They're seeking escape. This is the final tactic. A desperate play used when every other trick has failed. It sounds mature. It sounds like wisdom. It sounds like they're choosing harmony over drama. But listen carefully. What they truly mean is, stop asking questions. Stop looking deeper. Stop holding me accountable. This question aims for your exhaustion. Because the manipulator knows a painful truth. Most people don't stop searching for answers. Because they found the truth. They stop searching because they're tired. Let's break down why this tactic works. 1. It reframes your pursuit of truth as obsession. Suddenly, you look unreasonable for wanting clarity. 2. It pressures you socially. You feel like the difficult person for not accepting closure on command. 3. It weaponizes your desire for peace. Manipulators know that emotionally intelligent people avoid conflict. So they pretend they are the ones trying to de-escalate. But Stoicism teaches something radically different. Peace without truth is not peace. It is delay. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What is false is not harmless." Ignoring a wound does not heal it. It infects it. So when someone tries to rush you into forgetting, you must respond with calm, grounded certainty. The Stoic response is simple. I'm willing to move on. But not without understanding what I'm moving on from. This line does three powerful things. It shows you're not emotional, you're deliberate. It exposes their attempt to bury the issue instead of resolving it. It reclaims control of the pace of the conversation. A manipulator will get frustrated because they depend on your fatigue, not your clarity. But a person of integrity will respect this response. They'll answer your questions. They'll take responsibility. They'll stay present in the discomfort. Because truth doesn't need shortcuts. Only lies do. When you reach this level of clarity, you stop being someone who can be rushed, guilt, or confused into silence. You become someone who navigates conflict with precision and strength. And that is the core of Stoic self-defense. Stoic mindset, the shield against manipulation. Now that you've seen the 5 questions manipulators use, let's talk about the mindset that makes their tactics powerless. Because here's the truth. Manipulators don't need to be brilliant. They only need you to be emotional. They thrive when you react quickly. When you rush to defend yourself. When you panic, explain, justify, or apologize. It's not your integrity they exploit. It's your empathy. Your desire to be fair. Your fear of being misunderstood. That's why Stoicism is so powerful. It teaches you to slow the world down. To remove the emotional fog. To see the battlefield clearly, without the noise. Epictetus wrote, "No one can harm you unless you allow them to disturb your judgment." Manipulators aim directly at your judgment. Not your intelligence. Not your logic. But your emotional stability. And the Stoic mind knows exactly how to defend against that. Let's break down the 3 Stoic disciplines that instantly cut through manipulation like a blade through smoke. 1. The discipline of perception. See things as they are, not as you fear they are. Manipulators rely on ambiguity. They need you confused, unsure, overwhelmed. But the moment you start seeing events plainly, their power collapses. The Stoic asks, what is actually happening? What did they truly say, not what I emotionally interpreted? What is the observable behavior, stripped of tone and guilt? What is within my control in this moment? This simple shift removes 80% of manipulation instantly. Clarity is their enemy. It is your weapon. 2. The discipline of action. Respond, don't react. Manipulators want immediate reactions. Because reactions come from fear. Responses come from reason. The Stoic pauses. Not because they're weak, but because the pause gives birth to clarity. Before answering any manipulative question, ask yourself, what outcome are they trying to create? What emotion are they trying to trigger? What would a calm version of me say right now? Marcus Aurelius guided himself with one simple principle. If it is not necessary, do not say it. The fewer emotional words you use, the less material a manipulator has to twist. Stillness is not silence. Stillness is strategy. 3. The discipline of will. Hold your center, no matter the storm. A manipulator's final weapon is exhaustion. If they can't win through guilt, they will try to wear you down. They want you tired enough to say things like, "Fine, let's drop it. I don't care anymore. Whatever, let's just move on." That surrender is what they aim for. But Stoic willpower is not about aggression. It's about staying anchored. Epictetus said, "Circumstances do not make the man, they reveal him." When a manipulator pushes, the Stoic stops being pulled. When they twist emotions, the Stoic holds the inner line. When they rush you, the Stoic slows down even more. This is where your power truly emerges. Not in arguing, not in exposing, but in remaining unshaken. Manipulators don't know what to do with someone who cannot be moved. You now understand the psychological architecture behind manipulation. The minimization. The guilt traps. The reverse accusations. The performative innocence. The rushed closure. These are not random phrases. They're a strategy, a carefully built psychological maze designed to redirect your attention away from truth. But now you also possess the Stoic tools that break the maze. Observation over impulse. Clarity over confusion. Boundaries over guilt. Stillness over emotional chaos. Reason over panic. This is what makes a mind unmanipulable. Remember this. A manipulator never expects you to stay calm. They expect you to react. And when you stop reacting, you stop being controllable. The Stoics weren't warriors of muscle. They were warriors of perception. They defended themselves not with armor, but with clarity. And today, you've taken a step into that same discipline. The next time someone tries to twist your reality, don't rush to answer. Don't apologize for noticing. Don't let guilt cloud your judgment. Just stay still. Stay grounded. Stay observant. You are not cruel for wanting honesty. You are not unreasonable for asking questions. You are not dramatic for noticing inconsistencies. You are aware. You are awake. And the awake cannot be controlled. If this message resonated, like the video, subscribe, and in the comments write 3 simple words. I choose clarity. Your mind is your strongest weapon. Your awareness is your armor. And you now walk with both.